Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 10th of June. Now, if you're new to my channel, I just let my guides channel through to you, so stay watching. There might be a message for you today. And for everybody else, we'll just get started and see what comes up. Now, they're showing me visuals of a lot of backlash and a lot of backstabbing. Now, this is around government. This is around parliamentary leaders. So this is in their places of meetings. So when they have their meetings, they're I'm not exactly sure what you call them, but when they come together and they have their powwows and all this sort of stuff, I feel like there's starting to be a lot of backlash and backstabbing. I feel like they're even turning on each other. I talked yesterday about people going a little mad, but I feel like these parliamentary leaders and people in government, this is globally, they're showing me like Canada and Australia and probably New Zealand and a lot of places where they're starting to kind of turn on each other in government. It's like because someone doesn't agree with something, which we know that's quite a high probability, isn't there? That they're sort of not getting to have their say. Now, a lot of these people feel like they've been voted in by the people, which is all of us, so they have a right to have their say. But it's almost like now, it's like they're not being heard either. So no one's being heard in these sort of government situations. It's like the person in charge and in power, it's like their way or the highway. So this is causing a lot of this backlash and like backstabbing. Like you might start hearing more about things from the past. So they'll try and dig up and rehash old information and things that can sort of put that person down or shine a spotlight on them that they're corrupt, or this is the kind of thing that I'm getting today. There's definitely going to be a few things I feel highlighted. Oh, might even be in America. You never know. I'm sure there's a few things to highlight over there. But I'm definitely getting that today, that because these surrounding leaders feel like they're being like pushed aside and they have no value and their input isn't important. This is not everywhere, but this is in a lot of places because we know how the power works. They feel like they're losing their voices. And they feel like they represent the people, so there's going to be a lot of this backlash because they're going to fight back. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Because that could be providing another fight back to government, even though they are government. It's like they're going to have little pushbacks and fight backs within their own community now. So that's a good thing. We want them to do that. I mean, if they can all turn on each other, that's great, because all it does is highlight everything to everybody out there who's waking up. So I think you might start to see a lot of this backlash, backstabbing going on in these government departments. And also here in Victoria, for example, where we had the most locked down city in the world, Dan Andrews seems to be getting out of all his like corruption. He's having all these hearings and all sorts of things about different corruption situations, but nothing's kind of ever coming of it. It's very interesting. And of course, he blames other people and then they get sacked, and it's just this trail of like destruction that's behind some of these people in power, as we know. So I'm definitely getting that today, that they're even getting a lot of their colleagues offside, and that's causing them to rise up as well and fight back. So this is a good thing. Anything that can highlight this, especially in some of these parliamentary meetings, is a good thing. I'll just see what else we get today. Now they're showing me a visual of like globally, but what they're showing me is the globe has become a soccer ball. Now, if anyone watches soccer out there, I know there's probably a few of you in the UK and Scotland or anywhere like that. I know you're really into your footy and that in a lot of these places, Ireland. They're showing me that the globe has now become a footy. So it's almost saying to me like it's being kicked around. So I guess you could kind of take this as the world is being kicked around. And it's not being respected. They're saying to me, like, there's no goals being scored. At the moment, like, it's like the ball's out in middle field. Like, if we think of soccer, I get a lot of football analogies, don't I? Maybe I've got a footballer coming through. And this ball's just being kicked around willy-nilly. So it's just being booted, it's being kicked in the air, it's being head-butted. And this is the globe. It's just, it's become like a big toy. And if you think about kids just playing with a soccer ball, sometimes they'll just kick it around, do tricks, keep it in the air, kick it hard to each other. It's become like a toy. So it's almost like, I guess you could say we're being toyed with, but it's like we're being treated like we're just a toy to be played with. And this is kind of what the guides are kind of saying, like, there's no respect for the people of the globe. Like, they're kind of showing me all the, it's kind of now giving me this visual of the globe, and it's got all the people standing around the globe holding hands of all different cultures. So, you might have Africans, you might have Indians, you might have, obviously white people, but you might have people from Denmark, you might have people from Iceland, you've got people from Australia, you've got everybody holding hands, Canada, America, Finland, Netherlands, Germany, everybody is standing around this globe, and we're like, it's sort of in level with I think it's the equator, and we're trying to protect our globe, our earth. Like, it's showing that it's the people that are doing that. We're trying to protect it because we're not there to be played with, and we're not there to just be toyed with, if that makes sense to people. So it's like the people are standing up to save their world. Like, I know that sounds very deep and meaningful. It's kind of showing me the globe with the people standing around it, hand in hand, like this, and it's got above it, save the world. Like, save the world. But it's going to be up to the people, which, as we know, it is. Because this is, and what they're showing by the people all holding hands, they're holding hands down, and they're all very strong and stable, is that it's that strength in numbers. And when we're all connected, we have more strength and power to protect not only ourselves, but our world. And, this is globally as well. Because it's when we're isolated, and as we all know, the people who are watching my channel, you guys, we all know that when they tried to isolate us with lockdowns, separation, segregation in society, whenever they did that sort of thing, we lost a lot of people out of our lives, and we also grew apart from people. We stopped socializing. Life really changed dramatically for all of us as individuals in different ways. And that's what they wanted. They didn't want us united. And that's why that first wave, which is all of you guys watching my video, and anyone who came along just not long after that wave as well, via mandates, injuries, or whatever happened to you, job loss, of course, business loss, that's what they're saying. We realised very early that if we had support in numbers, it re-strengthened us again as people, with the pushback. So that's why we had so many protest marches, and the truckers and all these movements created this, this, well, I could say image of the people standing around the globe and trying to protect it. Now, I keep saying that this other people are starting to wake up now, which they are, because they're getting over it. But like I keep saying, that's not our battle anymore, because we had the first battle, and we're battle weary, or we became battle weary. We're not now. And we decided to create our own space and our own version, which we call now Terra Bella on this channel. But that's the visual that I'm getting. We still need to be all connecting with each other and strengthening in numbers. And that's, again, getting back to the blob movement. We moved that blob movement forward, and we just kept bringing people who would stick to it. So this is the visual that I'm getting, that sort of save the world wording. I keep thinking of Michael Jackson for some reason. I know he's got that great song called Heal the World. That's absolutely brilliant. And that kind of brings a lot of that imagery to mind too, when you think of some of his songs that he wrote about that kind of thing. And he's got another song too, something about they don't care about us. They don't really care about us. Anyway, go and look up some Michael Jackson songs today. He's always got look, I'm not saying he was the perfect person. I'm not saying that at all. But his music was very good, and he always had a lot of wonderful meaning. And to be honest, he did focus a lot on sort of healing the world. So that's kind of where this visual is at today. It's about healing that world and coming, but it's the coming together, and that's the big point of this video today. Is it's very important to keep coming together, keep connecting with people, keep bringing all our strength, because it gives us more strength and a higher vibration. Because when there's more people vibrating at that level, and I know you guys have experienced it. If you went to any of those protest marches, the truckers, we had marches here in Australia, New Zealand, gosh, Canada, you definitely did. You were all out cheering as the truckers drove past the highways, and, you know, there was this vibration of intense empowerment, happiness. What a great vibe. And that's what the guides are saying today. We've got to keep that vibe going. We can't just let it die like a slow death. And they're showing me like protesters on the bridge holding up their, like, for example, Canadian flags and that, and it all starts to turn grey and black, and then they all like flop over on the bridge, and it all just dies out, is what the guides are kind of saying. We've got to keep that life force going and keep that life and energy up, to keep all the colour and the vibrancy in our lives. Not literally, but you know what I'm saying. I know you guys watching my channel get it. You know, we want to keep the colour, like my red flag, that's the original Australian flag there. And the red and white Canadian flag, you know, the American stars and stripes, don't they call it? We've got to keep these colours and this richness in our life, and that's by strengthening in numbers and keeping that vibration up. I know you guys comment down below, it's great, and you always talk about vibration. I know high vibe you do, but we're always talking about our vibrations and making sure we keep it up, because we've come to that place now where we understand what the awakening process has been, and now we're sort of at that other side, and we see everything very differently through our crystal glasses. You know, it's about also emitting that so that other people can see what you're doing. You know, this is a visual thing as well, where people actually see that you're living your life and you're getting on with it, and you're not hiding away in your home and full of fear that you've been ostracized, and that you're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. We're out living our best life and making the most of every day. And that's what people are seeing. And that comes back to that kind of living by example. You know, that's what we're doing. We're being that living example. Like, you know, they all thought we were going to end up in the hospitals if you weren't jabbed. You know, they honestly thought we were just going to get absolutely sick from all this V. And, you know, that kind of hasn't happened because they've all been getting it. So, you know, it says something about your immune system, doesn't it? Maybe there's something to be said for natural immunity. I'm not saying we don't get things, but, you know, some people I know have even had it twice, you know, and the flu and all sorts of things. And it's bringing up their other ailments. We talk about shingles being on the rise a lot here in Australia. And heart issues is like through the roof. Anyway, that's kind of the message that I'm getting today. It's about keeping that vibration up. I'll see where else we go with this today. For some reason, they're showing me a little baby swimming pool. So it's one of those little blow-up circle swimming pools that you blow up when you first have, like, your toddler or your baby. And you put them in this little pool, because they can't, oh, they can, but they can't really drown in it when you're sitting with them, of course. It's safe and it's easy for them to sit in, and you can sit and have a little play next to them. And they're kind of showing me, that's the image that they're kind of showing me. Now, what the guides are saying is that we're like the adult outside the pool. So we're the ones sort of supervising. Now, when we think of this like toddler in the pool, this to me is the people waking up. They're a little, well, it's not really young, but they're a little immature in their waking up abilities. So that's why it's important for us to have this patience, Because even when it comes to learning to swim, and this is the example that they're giving me, when you're learning to swim, you start your toddlers in very shallow water till they feel safe and secure. So that the water, you're sort of desensitizing them to the water, and it becomes sort of more comfortable. Then you might go to your local pool and put them in a bigger toddler pool. You do these things gradually. Then you might start them with swimming lessons, and then they start to improve, and they can go into a bigger pool under a supervised instructor. And then eventually they'll learn to swim, and they can go in the deep end, and then eventually they can go into the ocean and become, like I said yesterday, more stable when the waves are coming and washing over them. This is the imagery that the guides are giving me about the people who are now waking up. This is a process for them. Now, we're the adult or the parent or the carer or whoever you want to be sitting outside this pool, ensuring their safety. So we're always like that lifeline. So at any time they can put their hand out and grab our hand, and we will rescue them and we will help them out. So this is kind of the imagery that the guides are giving me, that we have to have the patience now. We're the ones that are being told to have the patience to allow these people to go through that process of waking up and sort of maturing into being awake, I guess. It's like this learning to swim. You start small, in a small pool where you're safe, and then you start to improve your skills. And this is what is currently happening to the people waking up. They're having to improve their skills. So if you think about it and the things that we've done, they've got to now start to embrace their intuition, embrace their sixth sense, embrace the messages they're hearing and the way they're being guided. That's not easy for a lot of these people who have lived in 3D maybe for 30, 40 years or even 20 years. It doesn't matter how old you are. But you've got to go, and it's almost like relearning how to swim. It's a process. So you've got to kind of start to understand. Like the first part might be that sensory part where you're sensing and you're feeling. So that, you think of the toddler in the pool, and he's got some coloured balls in there, and he's feeling the water, and he's kind of desensitizing. He still feels safe because mum or dad or whoever is outside the pool, so they know that they're safe. So it's building that security too. And now this is what the guides are giving me, because you think of anyone who's been injured by the jab, had some terrible side effect, who's doesn't want to get any more jabs, perhaps even, they could be very easily ostracized and vilified, and they get bullied. We know that this happens. I know if you're watching my videos, we know this happens. This is the truth. Doctors and nurses have been silenced. We know all this has gone on. And they will bully you. I've been to those medical facilities, and they talk down to you, and you've got to wait outside in the snow, as I did the other day, and they talk down to you. You're disrespected in society because you're not jabbed. Well, imagine how these people would feel talking back against what we did as well. So they have to be allowed to do this at their own pace. They have to be allowed to wake up at their pace and when they're ready. I know we want to rush it and we just want everybody, quick, wake up, wake up, wake up. But it doesn't work that way. We have to think of this like learning to swim. They're learning to use their intuition. They're learning to use their guidance. And then they'll go to the next stage. And then they might get a telepathic message and wonder what happened. Or they might get some really synchronistic experience and guidance that they kind of, some light bulb moment goes, wow, that was really bizarre. This is happening to them. This is their awakening process now. But we have to just have patience. And like, I'm always talking about us throwing out a life buoy and, just holding that rope for them and keeping them stable and afloat. Well, we could probably relate it back to that as well. Just keep, I guess what the guides are saying is just walk parallel to them. Walk, parallel through that journey with them. Not to get into their journey, because like I said, they're going to go through a lot of soul breakdowns and ego breakdowns, and these things can be quite painful and uncomfortable, but it's okay to walk parallel with someone who's going through that experience, because your energy is still giving them support and helping them to get to that next level. So, that's where we're currently at with these people who are waking up. It's like that learning to swim. Well, they're learning to be more intuitive, and they're learning to listen to their guidance, and they're learning what the truth is. And that, you think about it, that's pretty shocking. If you start learning what the truth really is, I'm not saying that they're going to understand all about the CV and the jab. You know, I talk about they might stay believing that's true because that was a psychosis, but they're waking up to everything else, which is fine as long as they wake up. So this is, again, getting back to that strength in numbers, and keeping the information going around, but just walking parallel, and like keeping them afloat as well. And being true to yourself, you know, being true to yourself always keeps you grounded. That's how you remain grounded. It's like I said yesterday when we were sitting on the beach on our beach towel, and these poor people were getting washed over by the waves. Well, now they're learning to create their stability, the stability in their life. Because like I said yesterday, they're over here like a chook without head, running around in chaos and panic and freaking out. And now we're going to teach them, or they're going to teach themselves actually, and we're just going to like semi-guide them in that direction of maturity, which is, you know, spiritual maturity. Really, it's that advancing of the soul and that soul growth. You know, I talk about people having to break down and then rising from the ashes, you know, like the phoenix. We all know about that kind of saying. Well, that's what they're currently going through. I'll just see if there's any closing messages today. Oh, I'm getting that there's a lot being heard. Oh, and this is around truths. There's a lot being heard around the truth now. Oh, wow. They're saying to me there's a lot of truth movements. Now, I'm feeling that this is about that gathering, and I've talked about it before, of the legalities. But there's a lot of gathering of information. There are truth movements currently going on around the globe that are growing in size. And it's like got this quote like all lives matter. Like, it's very strange, but it's about these truths. These people are trying to really gather information and expose the truths. It's like they're calling it the truth movement. Gosh, we'd put our hands up, wouldn't we? We'd volunteer. Yeah, we'll join. We'd join anything to get the truths out. But I'm getting that these are building. It's a little, it's very interesting, isn't it? That they're saying they're calling themselves like this truth movement, where they've got nothing to hide, they've got nothing to lose, so they're going to just drag out the truths. Oh, I'd love that to happen. Wouldn't you love that to happen? So I'm definitely getting that there's some sort of all lives matter movement. And it's very interesting, isn't it? And it's definitely around everything to do with the CV virus. It's about people who didn't want to get the jab. It's about people who were mandated. It's about people who have lost their businesses. It's about people who cop fines and things during lockdowns. It's about all these people. That's a lot of people if you think about it. And people like with any sort of injury that were coerced, forced. And now we're getting the true Pfizer data and things being released. Like, there's a lot of information coming out. Like I said to you, you can't hide. Once information's out there, it's out there. And that's what I'm definitely getting today, is there's these truth movements that are really gathering and dragging up the truth. Look, this could be also represented by a legal system, which would be really great because that would actually lock it in. But I definitely feel that this truth movement, and they could be the ones, again, we've talked about that before on here, where these legal people are fighting to get truth for and justice, I guess it is, for these people too. But there's also these truth movements, which is people, you know, it's like our blob movement here on my channel. We've got our own kind of blob movement moving forward, but there's also this truth movement. And it's very interesting isn't it? It's almost showing me, and I'm getting the visual, and this will be good for you in America. I know you'll understand it. They're showing me the Statue of Liberty. So I'm getting this, so it could be in America. I mean, we don't know for sure, but I'm getting that Statue of Liberty where she's holding up that torch. It's a torch, isn't it? Yes. And, you know, it's that Statue of Liberty representing that, it's just got that image to it. When you think of the Statue of Liberty, it's like a strong force, isn't it? It's a female, but it's that inner strength. It's not representing a female as such. It represents that inner strength and having your sort of liberties and your freedom and having the ability to stand up without judgment. And that's the image I'm going to leave you with today. The Statue of Liberty. I might look that up and we'll see what it actually does mean. But that's what the meaning of it is today. You know, that's the image that I'm getting for anyone watching my channel. We have now like become the Statue of Liberty. And I always talk about us holding up that light and holding up that torch. Well, that's what we're still doing. And you can't miss the Statue of Liberty. I'm not even sure what city it's in. But I know it's there in America. So you hold that up. And that's like the representation of, you know, liberty. And that's the light. We're like this, she probably acts as a beacon and a lighthouse, you know, with her light. And that's kind of the image. Keep that light burning bright. And this is inside you. Keep your light burning bright. All our job is to walk parallel with the people that are waking up now because we've already done it. We're already here, behind the fence, when we need to be. Living in Terabella, living our best life, having hope, encouraging each other on my channel. I love that. Please comment. You know that I do. I love you guys chatting to each other. It's very important that we all connect and stay unified, like that visual of the people around the globe. Maybe go watch a couple of those Michael Jackson songs like Heal the World. There's another one, They Don't Really Care About Us. I think that's a really good song. It's got a lovely backbeat. It's a great song. I don't think it's called They Don't Really Care About Us, but it's something like that. And I think we could relate that to the current situation and some of these government leaders and the things that they're trying to, oh, the sun's coming up here, that they're trying to implement. I don't think they really care about us, but we care about us and we care about other people. And that's why we make these movements moving forward. And let's hope the truth movement is actually happening, because that would be brilliant. We'd all certainly, we could be in a few different movements. We'd be happy to do that moving forward, wouldn't we? So look, go and enjoy your day today. Find a little peaceful and tranquil place and have your own space. Keep that light burning inside of you, because that's the key. Keep that vibration up, and I'll say goodbye from Australia. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like buttons as well. Take care, everybody. Bye from Australia. Bye. Have a wonderful day.